There we go. I'll try that again. So today's our last meeting. Our group site will remain open on the Cubes platform, so you can feel free to continue to use that space as is helpful to you. David and I won't be checking in there for like forum posts and things. So if you do have something that you need would like to reach out, just feel free to email us. But it remains open. We don't ever close the groups, so you'll always have access to them. So if you want to come back, like a time capsule, right? Come back in a few years and be like, oh, I remember those conversations. It'll still remain open. So just wanted to let you know that. We are going to do our recording in a bit today. So I'll talk a little bit about that and kind of soft launch us into that. But before we do that, and then after we do the recording today, we will go through kind of next steps and talk about future opportunities, and David will talk a bit about kind of some logistics after this point. So we will get to those today after we do the recording part. But I wanted to open it up to see if there were any general questions or needs that you all had that you wanted to kind of voice now and kind of get off your brain or whatever that we can help with. I often tell Deb, my deputy director, we meet every week at this time, like the previous hour. And I'm always telling her that I have to do a brain dump first. So I have to like just write out all the things in my head in the document. And then because we share a Google Doc too. And then we get into it, right? Like, I have to it's all in here. I just need to get it out. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions or things. So I'll talk a little bit about the recording. So we're already recording the session. So what will happen is we'll start talking, and then I'm just going to edit that piece out as the recording for the outcomes. So we can just start once everybody's ready, and we'll just kind of go through things. The first thing we need to figure out is our order. So I'll go first, and David will wrap things up, but we kind of need to know who would like to go in which order. So that's kind of our first item to tackle. It probably makes sense for pairs to go together. If you have an order in mind, if you want to go first or you want to go last, I just need to know what that is. So we'll write it down so everybody knows who's going when. So any preferences, thoughts?
If no one else wants to do it, I could be the first one. But I might have to loop around again if then everyone's like, "Oh, that wasn't what we expected at all." So
I've done these a few times. We always do it in the first take. So I'm just going to take the stress off of you. It's all good. Whatever it is you say in the 2 minutes is fantastic. So we'll just say, or more than 2 minutes. Our goalpost is 2 minutes. If it's less, that's fine. It's a little bit more, that's fine. But just to give you kind of a target of not a 20-minute speech and not a 5-second, here I am, but around the 2-minute mark. So Dan, I should know the pairings by now, but I don't. So Dan and Bhavani, right? No.
it's Mark.
Thank you.
I've been trying to get in the habit of like not checking my email like first thing in the morning. And so I haven't like looked at my email. I'm gonna guess I talked to Mark on Tuesday, and I know he has a number of things on his plate, but he had mentioned then that he was planning on being at the meeting, but something might have come up, would be my
Okay.
guess.
So we'll put you first, Dan.
Okay.
Is there a group that would like to go next?
I'm not sure when Michael will be able to join, so I don't know if I should wait until he's there. Oh, there he is.
He's
I'm
walking.
walking in the building now. I'm close.
We can put you and Michael last, and we can wait until Michael's settled to even start.
That's all I meant. Yes,
not
yes,
a problem. Yeah, we can absolutely do that. And so Amy Vaso want to go like in the next. Okay. All right, so that'll be our order. I'll talk a bit here just about what we're doing, give everybody a chance to kind of settle with what you'd like to say, and that'll probably give Michael enough walking time. But Michael, don't rush. We don't need you all out of breath. We'll do this. So what I didn't mention before is you want to introduce yourself briefly along with your blurb about your outcomes and what you did here. So your name and institutional affiliation. So for me, I'm going to say, hi, I'm Sarah Prescott. I'm the executive director of BioQuest. So, something, whatever, however that translates for you. And then the general flow for your 2 minutes, those are just suggested prompts. And those are the prompts that I gave you last time to think about. So the module or modules that you've created, if you want to give a brief, details about that, what prompted your interest in either the topic or the project, whatever, you feel passionate about sharing, what class it's designed for. If it was designed for a specific course, you could address that. Any future work or things that you have in progress that are connected that you wanted to share, and then any general comments about the FMN experience. So what you enjoyed about the process or how it might have helped you. We're hoping it did, but whatever you would like to share for comments there. So that's in general, but you can, again, as I said before, adapt it to however you would like. What I'll give everybody is a few minutes. If you want to put anything in the notes for yourself in terms of things you want to talk about, or if you did that last time, you could use those. If you had something else you made, you want to pull up. So in whatever way you want to give yourself whatever prompts that you want to talk about. So for me, I've written out a full script because I work best with just actually having it in front of me. So I'm going to pull that up when we start. And I'll look at the screen, but it'll be, it's like a teleprompter, I guess. It will kind of look like that. So if that's what you would like to do, feel free to do that. So if you want to take a few minutes to write things out, you can do it in these notes docs or another notes doc, whatever is your comfort level. If you want to do it on the fly and you're ready to just go, that's also fine too. So however you like to do this, it just gives you that space to share what you got out of this process. Just remind folks that you'll want to unmute before you come up. So just make sure you know where that unmute and mute is before we start. And we want to keep them, to around the 2-minute mark. Trying to think of other reminders there. David, you want to drop in any other final kind of things to think about here as we're getting that going?
No, I just will say, I think Sarah already said a version of this, but, please don't overly self-edit. Just be yourselves. Nothing needs to be perfect here. And I'd rather hear more from you than less. So, we want to hear from you. We can always edit things if needed, which we probably won't. This is not going to be released to YouTube or something like that later. But we want to hear your thoughts. This is a very pivotal time in a number of respects at the GCI in terms of curricular development. I'll talk about that more, I think, later in the meeting. And your input, your thoughts, your reflections, and most especially your continued involvement in the future are going to be key if you are, willing and interested to do that. So that's all.
Thanks, David. Your sound was cutting out a bit for me, and I'm seeing head shaking for others. I don't know if there's any adjustments or it's just how it is for you today. That's totally fine. But I just thought I'd mention it in case there were things that could help that. And that did remind me that as we are recording this, if you haven't looked at the recordings or you don't know this, when it is recorded, it's just going to record the screen with the person speaking. So that's the other reason to make sure that, no one else is sort of talking at the same time, because it would potentially flip to their screen. So you just want to be mindful of that, unmute, say your bit, and then mute again as we pop around in order. Hey, Michael, great to see you.
Just curious, Sarah, were you muted when I was talking?
No, but I will be when you are.
Okay, so
and we'll see if that helps. Yeah, absolutely. We'll try to make sure that everyone's muted while everyone else is talking. So as we're able to do that. And Dan, I'm seeing your note in the chat. So I'm sorry that that happened to Mark. And yeah, hope he's doing okay and everything's okay there. Okay, so I'm going to fill in Michael that's joining us. I'm not sure if you might have been listening as I was blathering on, but so the order is going to be myself, and then Dan, and then Amy, Vaso, Bhawani, and then you, Michael, after Bhawani, and then David will finish us off. And we're already recording, so I'll just kind of get us started when folks feel ready. We want to introduce yourself, kind of name and affiliation, and then things that you would like to share about your project. So the module, what prompted your interest in it, the course it might have been designed for, future work, and then any general comments about this experience with this FMN group. And then I also mentioned if you want to write a script, you're welcome to do that. I have one that I'm going to use. You can also freeform it. You could have a couple notes to yourself, whatever kind of works for you. And we're aiming for that 2-minute kind of goalpost for length of time. Did I miss anything? Are there questions? Do people need more time?
Very quickly, Sarah, I have some notes before we actually do the recording. Would you like me to send this to you later, or would that be helpful just for noting?
So what we are going to do, Vaso, thanks for the question. You can feel free to just use your own notes. I don't need those. But what we will do later is ask for a brief quote from each of you in the note stock. And so I think probably you'll use maybe some of those notes for that point. And that will be a written quote that you are willing for us to share broadly and publicly share. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too. So thanks for that question. That was great. Any other questions? Okay, I'm pulling up my own thing here and doing a little manipulation of my screen. Everyone knows their order because I'm not going to be able to kind of prompt you. So let me know if there's any questions there. All right, give me a thumbs up if you're good to go. Okay, I had to move my screen so I could see all the thumbs. All right, this is okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's going to be fine, Sarah. It's okay. Yes, my own pep talk. All right, here we go. Hi, I'm Sarah Prescott, Executive Director of BioQuest and one of the co-facilitators for this Create Faculty Mentoring Network, or FMN. This FMN brought together an amazing group of chemistry faculty who created modules as part of the American Chemical Society Green Chemistry Institute's curriculum development project. We are excited to hear from them about the great work they accomplished and the lessons they learned from this experience.
Hi, I'm Dan Waddell, Associate Professor at the University of Cincinnati. I worked on one of the modules, largely centering around electrochemistry. I liked thinking about this electrochemistry topic. I feel like when I teach General Chemistry 2, which is a course that I often teach, that I feel like I'm rushing through the topic of electrochemistry kind of towards the end of the semester. Things are going quickly. And so I was excited to think more deeply about integrating this topic into these modules that way. So yeah, so I typically teach general chemistry courses, often large class sizes, usually, large lectures, could be as many as 450 to 500 students in the lectures. And so really finding a topic that I think that students can relate to and that is relevant and that common examples can be found of that are coming in the news each day in the electrochemistry and battery space, I think is an exciting topic to look at. Really enjoyed this faculty mentoring network experience. It's been really great getting to know other faculty across the country and really talking through not only these modules, but teaching practices in general. And so, yeah, I think I really enjoyed my time.
Hi, my name is Amy Chu. I'm an assistant professor at St. Mary's College of California. So my collaborator, Baso, and we jointly created the module on introduction of acid and base ideas. And this module is separated into 3 different units that Baso and I worked on together. So generally, I usually teach general chemistry 1 and 2, as well as inorganic chemistry for our upper division. And I was initially interested in this topic. We were initially interested in this topic because of the importance of carbon dioxide and its role in the acidity of the ocean, as well as how acid and base properties affect pharmaceutical compounds and how they're synthesized and purified in industry. So Basil will talk a little bit more about that, about our module, but I think the FMN experience was very valuable to me. And instead of kind of talking in more generic terms, a specific example is when I was working on a lot of the carbon dioxide bits in the acid-base module. I was so focused on using carbon dioxide as my only example, but this group actually gave me lots of ideas and information and data to bring in acid rain as well into the module. And I thought that was really cool. And it became a very important part of one of the units. And thoughts on future work is I'm personally quite interested in assessing how students learn about green chemistry in these modules. So very much looking forward to contributing and learning about that.
Hello, I'm Vasily Corino. I'm at the Chemistry and Chemical Biology Department. I'm an associate teaching professor at Northeastern University in Boston. I worked with Amy, as you just said, in the acid-base module. The reason I was very interested in this module is that I have done some previous work before in this project that was for a teaching lab for a first-year general chemistry course, where we looked at natural products, basically alkaloids, and I work with the graduate students. So I thought, okay, that would be a nice module to work on because it help students look at molecules that are generally very complex, but you can explain a lot of what they do just thinking about the acid-base properties and, you know, if something is a conjugate or not, just a very, very fundamental understanding of aqueous acid-base chemistry. So I thought I could build from that, and that's how the development started. I teach in the general chemistry cohort. I typically am involved in very large classes of this one semester accelerated course we have, which is a bit of a challenge, you know, to implement new content. But there's ways to do it. So so that's one semester general chemistry course, but I also teach the 2-semester sequence, which is the more classical, you know, 1-year Gen Chem. But I also now have been teaching the Introduction to Green Chemistry and Toxicology course, and not only from our module, but for a lot of things we all have done together here as a big cohort. There's a lot of things I can take from there. And that has been one of the many, many valuable things of being involved in this work. What I would like to do about future work in this space, I very much like the idea of continuing building a community of faculty where, you know, we take what we've done here with the modules, but sort of creating a space where people can be supported to do this implementation, do this kind of work, because I know how impactful that was for me. And I know that's usually the challenge that most faculty have, to be able to be in a space where other people support you, you know, the wonderful support and resources GCI provides. And that's important to me. So not only to continue to put this work in my classrooms and help my department and my students, but also create these valuable communities, which is essential. And this is where my comments for the FMN experience could be connected to. Moreover, I really believe in communities of practice, right? I see this in my students, you know, peer learning works for students as well as for faculty. And I cannot stress enough how this is GCI, this group, right, the FMN has been, as also Amy was saying, a place where you can have an essential conversation, and you can evolve your understanding, like my understanding as a faculty. And that has been like invaluable, and it has implication not only for me, but it's also in my department, right? So a lot of things that I went back and I did there, the communities I was able to build longitudinally come from that. I mean, learning is difficult, learning takes time, but unless you have a community, it's very hard, right, to evolve. So I would say this has been an amazing, amazing community, not just to finish our modules, but just simply really evolve as faculty.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bhavani Venkatraman. I'm an associate professor of chemistry at Eugene Lang College, which is part of the New School in New York City. And I've been working with Michael on these modules. So our modules focus on solutions chemistry. One of the modules looks at the role of intermolecular forces and solubility, and in particular looking at the universal solvent property of water that makes it both essential for life, but also susceptible to contamination. And we use that as a way to connect a module on solubility to the UN SDG on access to safe drinking water. The second module focuses on concentration units, and our intent is to try to underscore the importance of why we need to understand various ways of quantifying dissolved chemicals, and connect that to the national primary drinking water regulations under the Safe Drinking Water Act in the United States that regulates the quality of the water that we all consume. And this also therefore connects to the UN SDGs, SDG 6, and in particular, SDG 6, as with the other SDGs, connects to a lot of the other SDG goals. What made me particularly interested in working on this module is when Michael and I were paired up and we were trying to figure out what topic to focus on. I shared with him that something that I've been doing for a while in my general chemistry classes is using the water molecule as a lens to connect from the molecular scale to the social and policy scale. And as I often tell my students, trying to make the invisible visible through the context through which we understand and explore chemistry. As we all are aware, chemistry is a topic that often students find challenging. They don't quite see often the relevance of why they have to focus on a scale that's so absurdly small. But a lot of my work is trying to get them to think about, well, what happens on that scale really dictates so much of the world that we engage with. And connecting it to issues on water, which is something that we all have an intimate relationship with, I found has been a very effective way of teaching some of those core principles in the first semester and contextualizing them in ways. And so Michael was a great partner, ready to jump on board. And so we dove into the solutions chemistry module. And so, you know, as I also said, I teach general chemistry courses. And so to me, having a community like this to share ways in which I've been thinking about teaching general chemistry, but also to learn from everybody about the ways in which they are trying to get their students to overcome this challenge that we all face with many of our students. And why is it that chemistry is something that should be part of their education, particularly in liberal arts context, where many students might feel, you know, what does chemistry have to do with the things that the world is dealing with? And so I think for me, something that I've often told my students, you know, chemistry is necessary for many to understand the challenge we face, but not sufficient. So how do we connect chemistry to other disciplines to address these global challenges, whether it's climate change or air pollution or water quality? And I think talking to all of you really helped me think about these issues critically. And for me personally, I'm in a very small department. And so I'm always looking for opportunities to engage with other chemists. Particularly people are really thinking deeply about how to effectively communicate chemistry to their students. And so this has been a wonderful opportunity for me personally. And I really want to thank Sarah and David for organizing this, and all of you here for being part of this community. And then finally, moving forward, I think for the same reasons, I would love to be engaged in things that ACSGCI are doing around the teaching and learning of chemistry through these contexts. It's something that I think many of us have been doing for a while, and this program has allowed, at least me personally, an opportunity to sort of take what I've been doing and take it to a different level through the conversations that I've had with all of you. So I look forward just to being part of this community moving forward.
All right, hello. My name is Michael Wenzel. I am the chair and the Lindstrom Family Endowed Professor of Chemistry at Augsburg University in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I was partnered with Bhavani, as previously mentioned. And our two modules were on solutions and advanced solutions. I teach organic chemistry. So I rarely teach general chemistry, but I often teach a non-majors green and sustainable chemistry course, or a study, and I also teach a study abroad course focused on green and sustainable chemistry. So I brought a different lens, perhaps, of seeing those connections between general chemistry or intro chemistry to organic chemistry. Our first module was really based on those intermolecular forces, and as an organic chemist, seeing those things and trying to help understand how general chemistry those things are taught was really critical and important. And in advanced solutions, also seeing, visualizing parts per billion, parts per million, parts per trillion. I mean, what we really focus on was water, was as this universal solvent, but also, really kind of give it a contextualize about these UN SDGs, which I think I want to make sure our students, especially students in the United States, UN SDGs these are things that are important for all of us. Access to clean, safe water is really important. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Um, PFAS, those type of polyfluorinated alkyl substances are part of our water system here, and helping, and that reaches to students, and students understand the critical importance of understanding and testing those things for safe drinking water for our local communities. I think, as a liberal arts person, I think of systems thinking, and I think about as I'm reflecting on this, I'm seeing different systems of professors, of students, of places in the world, different types of chemistry, and how all those things are interconnected, and as we create these communities, how we talk to each other, how that's really critical, and that science is for everyone, and that we need to be able to reach people in those different ways. I really think systems thinking is the ultimate liberal arts. We train students to not only be chemists, scientists. We train them to be, you know, people that fight for justice, people that want to make the world a better place than they found it. And I think that's a really critical part, and that will reach students and inspire them to think about and want to work with these things. As far as reflecting on this community, I think one of the biggest things I found friends. Uh, I love working in teams, and I think what we find out is that um, we're better. We help each other, and I think that's for me the most rewarding thing is I found a great new friend in Bawani, and all of you as well. But I always look forward to those meetings and making time for those and these kind of meetings too, and dedicating that time and making that time sacred and trying your best to say this matters. I'm putting it in, and it's going to be a real thing. And that was the same thing with this faculty mentor network, being able to bounce ideas off each other and see the interconnectedness of our own modules. But I think the other biggest thing is we want people to use these. We want to make these things accessible. Um, we have to find ways to contextualize these things but also we want people to use these things. So I would also please, if people are working on these things, reach out to us. We want to talk. We want to talk to you. We want to answer those questions. We want people to use these. Right, that's the most important thing. So future work, I'd love to keep working on these type of things, thinking about new courses. As I think most colleges are changing, maybe becoming more and more interdisciplinary, right? These ideas of departments and silos or things are kind of collapsing on each other. This is the ultimate interdisciplinary type thing. So I would want people to think more about that in these courses. And really, I guess at the end of the day, just very grateful for this opportunity to work with people and keep doing it. And then, I just want people to use these things. I think that's the most important thing is at the end of the day, um, a little bit is better than nothing. And so, reach out to us, work with us. People want more people in this community. It's a big group. We have plenty of room. So please join us.
Well, thank you to Sarah, first and foremost, but all of the instructors in this group for everything you've done to ensure the success of this FMN, which more or less has been up and running weekly since January of this year, January 2025. So that's about 4 months or so. I'm David LaVisca, Portfolio Manager for Green Chemistry and Sustainability in Education at the ACS GCI. And this initiative is one of many mechanisms we are employing to help faculty as they reimagine the way they teach chemistry in higher education, as you have heard today. This FMN is the first of what we hope will be many future ones that bring together chemistry instructors to brainstorm, create, and publish their resources, and then share best practices for effective pedagogy in the chemistry classroom, laboratory, and across the sciences more broadly. You've heard this spoken of eloquently today by our instructors. I would like to point out that everyone on this call, including Sarah and me, We're part of the original cohort of instructors from across the United States and Canada who were selected to create resources under the auspices of the original iteration of this project way back in 2021. And so it has taken some time for us to evolve to a place where not only are there amazing resources being created, but you're hearing comments of the sort that you've heard from this subset of instructors today. Many of these folks are already mentors to other instructors who want to modernize their curricula, and they will also be mentors in future iterations of our FMNs. And we hope that you will join us starting in fall of 2025 or as part of another future cohort. Please feel encouraged to dig into our curricular resources and join the conversation. We want you to add your voice. We want you to add your perspective, and we want you to add your experience to the conversation. And we hope to collaborate with you soon.
Yay!
Did my audio work?
Oh, it was a little shaky, but we could hear you. It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. So congratulations, you got through the recording part. Y'all did amazing and wonderful. By the way, I'm still recording.
Yeah, you people are amazing. Well done.
That was awesome. See, Dan, just a first take. It's always a first take because it's fantastic. Every time we do this, it's amazing. Y'all did wonderful. I love the mix of different things that all of you shared. And Michael, like you couldn't have launched us into the last one better than just, we want you all here. Like that was amazing.
I don't know. I was just trying. I was like laughing. I was like, I'm just gonna. I was like, keep talking. Get to the point, Wenzel. And I started using my hands. I couldn't help myself. Did you see that? I was like, what do I do with my hands? I want to like. It's like, and then I laugh about if you guys. I was talking about. I did the active learning and organic chemistry workshop, but the joke was that we had made these videos, right? And people always worry about like editing, and I was like, no, one take Wenzel. Like, and like, so if you ask Kathy Welder from Dartmouth, she'll be like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, people are worried about editing. It's like, oh, talk to Wenzel. He doesn't edit anything. He doesn't care. Like, he just goes.
Just go. Just do it. You get the best energy the first take. Like if you do it again, it seems more forced.
It's good for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I loved your laughter at the end. I was like, this is amazing. This is awesome. God. So you all did wonderful. That was great. Okay, so we're going to transition into talking about, well, celebrating, but next steps and things. So I am going to kind of turn it over to David to talk about next steps. But I will point you to our note stock at the bottom where it says, can we grab a quote? Quote, please. And so if you will take a few minutes at some point today, so we've still got some time left, to think about a blurb you would like to share with us about this experience. And the goal there is something that you are okay with us sharing publicly. And I'll let David speak to where on ACS GCI's end of things like this is going to go and all of those things in just a second. But I'll wrap up my little bit. And just if you are willing to share a quote with us, if you can put it as an item there in the agenda, and we will assume that what you have put there, you are okay with us sharing publicly. And then I will ask on your quote, if you would put your name and affiliation as you would like it to appear so that we will properly share your quote with your identification as you would like it listed. So that's at the bottom, but we want to talk a little bit about kind of next steps and things too, but I wanted to give you that as a prompt in case you want to think about it or you want to type away as we're talking, like that's totally fine too. So I'm going to turn it over to you, David, to talk about next steps, future opportunities. And I'll just let you know that the notes that are in there already is what we talked about in the adapt. So if you want to change any of that, let folks know, but I think it's probably similar to what you wanted to share. So I will mute.
Okay, so if my video or my audio rather is poor, somebody like start waving your hands or something, and I'll turn off my video. It's my computer actually. I really need to. As a matter of fact, they're emailing me while I was talking in the video about my tech issues, so I can't find the time to meet with them. Anyhow, I want to start off by saying something I didn't say in the ADAPT group last week, which is if this is, if this is meaningful to anyone, I was thinking a lot. I was in Las Vegas for the last few days visiting my brother. I'm relocating my mom there. It's been a very complicated family situation, but I'm always looking around when I'm traveling. And prior to being in Las Vegas, I think I probably mentioned at some point that I was in Morocco just 2 weeks ago. And it's really a lot of other things have been going on that have highlighted for me the fact that despite the challenges that we face, not only the global sort of existential challenges that have been ongoing for years and decades, but the more recent, very local to the US challenges. I want to reassure everyone that there is tremendous energy behind the forward momentum of green and sustainable and renewal of hope for doing things differently. Yes, there's a lot of inertia still. There's so much work to be done, but there is a surprising amount of optimism to be, I think, gleaned from all of the amazing work that's happening in the US, in Canada, and around the world. I could sit here and talk for a couple of hours easily about things that I have experienced just over the last month. But I hope that you feel that. And thank you, Bhavani, for in your comments in the video part, mentioning being in a small department. I think that's a very important thing because a lot of people are. And it's very easy to feel isolated. This is one of the great benefits of travel is it reminds you to reconnect with communities outside of what you interact with. I'm a really very, very, very introverted person, and if left to my own devices, I would probably just stay home all the time because I like being at home, and I'm a little bit. I mean, maybe this is too much information. I'm a little bit fearful in general as a human. I have to constantly like get myself on task and step up, step up, step up. It's just my personality. But when you do, you see things that bring you great hope. So it invigorates me and makes me want to be sure that I'm giving you opportunities. I've said that before. There's so much going on right now at the GCI, but the ACS more broadly. There's many, many people working hard to ensure the viability, short and long term, of green and sustainable science. I hope that you will continue to be involved. And I've said that before. So first thing I want to find out is how many of you are going to be at the GC&E, the Green Chemistry and Engineering Conference this summer? Vaso, Sarah, Michael. Okay, so no Dan, no Bhavani, and no Amy. Right, Amy, I know you're going to be very busy with other things. Okay, so I'm just trying to orient myself on who's going to be there. Dan and Bhavani, I don't know. Bhavani, I guess I met you in person at the summit we had at the ACS, right? And Dan, I don't know that we've ever met in person. If we have, I'm misplacing the memory right now, but please let me help you have experiences if you are in a situation where you want to, but you don't have the ability because of teaching load or financial support or whatever it is. I'm just putting that out there generically. I mean, that goes for everyone, of course. There are other big topics that may or may not impact you. For example, Vaso and I are in the very, very beginning stages of forming what is my intention to have it become a sort of a regional hub of green chemistry and education based at Northeastern, but leveraging the very rich academic community in the Boston area. And this is going to be slow, but these are big ideas and big picture items that will come to pass little by little. You obviously all have either you're just masochistic, which is probably the case, or you have great endurance because you've all stuck with this project, or maybe you just really want that tiny little stipend that I saw that once. Yeah. So, but clearly you're committed, and we have some very long-term, big ideas. I think I've mentioned coordinating with Michael's study abroad program. I owe you an email, Michael, or we should have a meeting since it's close. Then there are other initiatives of large size, like a global network of green chemistry training programs along the lines of our summer school, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I want you to be involved. I want your colleagues to be involved if they're interested. Basso's colleague, Magda Barechka, to bring up one example, works in sustainable polymers and polymer degradation and straps chemistry and engineering. He's going to come and teach at our summer school this year. And that was at my invitation. So there's a lot of things coming. For this summer, please keep in touch with us and let us know where you're going to be. So one example, I have to talk faster. One example is regional meetings of the ACS. So for example, the Mid-Atlantic Regional Meeting is going to be at Seton Hall University in New Jersey in a couple of weeks. And that's where I was on faculty before I left to join the ACS. And so of course, they contacted me. So how about this? I'm giving a green chemistry workshop as part of a MARM, and I was contacted by the organizers last week to tell me that they were a little surprised because I have almost 70 people signed up for the workshop, and they were going to cut off the registration. And I said, no, just find a bigger room. If I'm going to be there and do it, you might as well get as many people in there as possible. So there can be great productivity out of these things. And because I'm going now, my colleague Edmund Lamb is going also. And there are people from the Division of Higher Ed from ACS, Michelle Brooks, and others who are also going to be there. So regional meetings can also be very impactful. We all have them on our radar screens. At the GCI, there's just only so many hours in the day. To be honest, the number of things I have to do, I normally wouldn't go to any regional meetings. But because MARM is just up the road and I can get there in 30 minutes and go back and forth for a few days, that becomes possible. But if you can be the ones to coordinate these things at regional meetings, and we can leverage and give you some funding, or even one of us can fly out there for a day or something. I mean, there's just many possibilities here. Regional meetings can be very impactful. FMNs will continue. We'll send out more messaging about this. Sarah and I are brainstorming right now. We have some ideas. We don't know exactly how it's going to work yet, but obviously in its current form, this one will no longer exist because you're all going to be done with your modules and they're going to be up online and published. But creation will continue. So that brings me back to what I said at the very beginning, which is that this is an important time. I just submitted what's known as I don't remember, forgot, but I don't remember the name of it, but I had to submit a business case to the ACS, which will basically translate, I hope, into funding for curricular development, because this project, as it has been, is going to end. But curricular development should continue. And this is a very important area of focus and work. So there will be opportunities, and you will be critical players to the extent that you want to be. This is, of course, for the GCI on a selfish basis, but only so that we can keep developing curricular materials to share with other people. I want to amplify you. I will amplify your career. I will help you get publications. I will help you travel to conferences. I will help you get stuff in your resume. I can maybe fund you to do things at regional meetings, or I can fund, like in Vaso's case, a regional hub. We're going to try and work on that. That'll be a larger sum. There are many, many things. I can't do everything, and I don't need to promote myself, right? I feel like I already don't do a good enough job meeting my commitments and doing all the things that I want to do. So I want to promote you. But that means that you need to be the one to contact me and do so persistently, or be in one of these things like this that's a recurring meeting so that I'm seeing you on a regular basis and we're talking. It's very challenging to keep up until I hopefully eventually, maybe next year in 2026, get another person to work with me in education, either an assistant or a junior person or something. There's a lot to coordinate, but I do want to do those things, and I will support you and amplify you. But you have to contact me and reach out and help me do that. We have a lot of other things. The ACS fall meetings. Anybody planning to go to the ACS fall in DC by any chance? The national meeting? Michael, maybe.
Well, I'm doing the exams.
Oh, good. Good. Okay, that's good. So, anybody else wants to go? I think the deadline for abstract submissions well passed, but there will almost certainly be need for maybe somebody to help me with a workshop.
When is
That
the
actually,
date?
what was
David,
that?
what's the date of the AC, that one?
The third week of August. You'll be back. You'll be back from your Greek Isles respite.
I will.
That's another thing on my radar, right? Vaso's taking me to Greece every year from now on.
I already said, and you have me on the video now multiple times. You're all invited, not just not just David.
16 to 21 August. Okay, so we can talk about that. Actually, I'll be in touch because I think it's going to be the bigger initiative built around these FMNs. We're going to have need for video shorts. We may have people come to DC and teach mini classes and do that on video. There's a lot of things upcoming. So I'm going to stop because I've gone on way too long. And Sarah's going to start like doing the virtual hook thing if I don't.
I have yet to do that. I will tell you, right? I haven't no. It's just
but I know
wait,
you.
I can't hide the face. It's just a part of my personality. You just know what's happening. I really wish that sometimes, like faculty meetings, I could turn the face off. But not with you all. Like you get, this is it. This is real Sarah. Yeah, I'm gonna highlight a couple things, David. You sound like you've been like you have a grumbly voice. Like it's very so anyway, but we could hear you. But I'm just letting you know in case you're in other meetings today. So you're aware. You know, I'm that good friend that tells you that, right? Like it's like, hey, it's yeah. I'm going to highlight a couple things. So quotes, if you could take a minute to do that before we all depart. So that's down at the bottom. Vaso, I think you've added yours already. So thank you for that. I also right above that put meetings as David was talking. If you can scan the list real quick, add your name if you're going so we can hunt you down and find you. No, so that we can connect with you if you're going to be there. I wanted to add a quick note about GC&E that Cynthia in our ADAPT is working on getting FMN folks together. So in particular for GC&E, I didn't grab who was all going with a hand wave. So I think I missed some folks. So if you could add your name if you're going there or not, if you don't want us to know, but no, add your name. And then if there are other meetings that you're going to, if you don't mind sharing with us, so we all know, because maybe we'll find, I put a biology one I go to in case there's an overlap because I'm a biochemist. So I get to play in both sandboxes and it's amazing. So I go to, a variety of different other conferences too. So I'm going to be quiet so you can do notes. You can enter in the meetings and then grab a quote. So I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to do that. I'll circle back to see if there are questions before we close out.
I was just going to quickly say, David, if there's any interest in the fall ACS and this work, I'm happy to assist in any way you see fit. So I will be around back in the US August 1st. So
promoted that on the sheet. And Sarah, thanks for letting me know about the audio. I wish I should have experimented earlier. I'm going to try and use a different headset or something. I don't know if it's the microphone or Zoom. I just have to jump in so that it's seen by someone. Oh, I think someone. Okay, Amy.
David, I've been meaning to email you too. I will email you. But excited. Things are happening. It's gonna be great. But I will email you. We're just doing stuff. I'm gonna see you in a week or so, right? It's happening. It's happening. Beer and pretzels. And pretzels.
So I do see a couple folks still writing. I don't want to interrupt too much of your process here. Bhavani, I know that you're still entering in, and thank you all for putting in meeting things. So I see folks filled in names there. I will forward the list, David, if that's okay with you, to Cynthia about who all from this group is also going to be there, so she can add you, Vaso and Michael. And I dropped in a link to the ASCN Institutions Conference, and I can try to find other links for our notes too. Any questions or things that people have? David, are there final steps here? We're at time, so you've got like 10 seconds to say something.
Yeah, so what I would say is, for those of you who haven't, you should all, you all have timelines with me and Sarah Kennedy. Please stay on task. Really, really critical, so that we can get these finished, reviewed. Sarah Kennedy's been doing great. There's a big backlog of completed modules, but you all know what your charge is from this point. So please, please stay on that. The deadline was set for a reason, and my life is about to get very, very, very hectic. So thank God for Sarah Kennedy.
Thanks, David. Okay, I'm going to wrap us up 1 minute late, but we did it. So yay, congratulations. Thank you all. I can't wait to see you in all the other places very soon. So, and have a great summer if I'm not seeing you over the summer.
Yes. Take a break.
Thank
Thank you,
all.
folks. Hope
Thank
to
you
see
so
you.
much for
Hope to
this
see you in
space.
3D. 3D.
Yeah.
Ah, later.
I'm still recording, by the way.
I know. It's fine. Don't edit it. Don't edit it. All right.
No, it's good. It's
I'm
good.
filtered.
We gotta
Michael, I'm
have
filtered.
real.
And
There
if
has
they
to be
know, if somebody knows
outtakes.
me, they'll think nothing of it. It's fine.
That's awesome.
Bye bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.